Treasure is hidden all over your neighborhood. Most people can't see it. Perhaps even you at times have missed it. What makes this treasure so inconspicuous is that it simply appears in the place you live. Berries, leaves, pine cones, the stuff you walk on or walk past because you're busy or distracted and have seen it 10,000 times. Welcome. Step 1 is called Wander and Wonder. There are 3 parts to this step. Simply, this is just about going outside with a basket or a bag and wandering around your neighborhood or wherever you are and collecting items for your morning altar. But this is not that simple. It's profound because this step is encouraging us to walk around our neighborhood and to see it as if we've never seen it before. What I call childlike wonder, radical amazement. To look at a tree or a bush or even a rock and to see it and let the words wow or ooh or ah escape your lips. But in order to do that, we have to first and foremost confront our sense of familiarity. The part of us that says, oh, I know what that is. I've seen that before. Oh yeah, that's just a tree. So in some ways, for this practice, for this first step, we have to push that part of ourselves aside. And we have to look as if it was the very first time we saw it. And by doing that, we can see it with wonder. Now, the second part of this practice is not just wonder, but wander. And it carries a similar cadence, to not take the common road, but to allow yourself to get lost, to allow yourself to go in the unexpected places. In our culture, most of us experience something called destination addiction, which is that we're so focused on getting there, on getting to what we expect, that we stop looking at where we are, and especially valuing the journey. And so the wander step, this step in our practice, is to just allow ourselves to be in the wander, not focused on the destination. And the third part of this practice is the collecting of the objects. Now, I'm going to go outside soon in this video, and I'm going to go and collect things. And I'm going to teach you the 3 rules when we collect things, because we're not just there to take from the living world, but we're there to connect in, to receive, to stop seeing the living world as an object or something that is an it, and instead to connect into our living world as a subject. And in that way, we can be in better relationship with the world. And so, in review, this first step is the wander, the wonder, and the forage. Hi, welcome to the Morning Altars practice, step 1. This step is called Wander and Wonder. And what you're going to need for this step is a basket or some kind of tote bag, and either a pair of scissors or shears. And lastly, you want to make sure that you have some kind of timekeeper, like a phone or a timer. Now, for this step, the reason that you want a timekeeper is because you want to be able to go explore and get lost. So you want to establish what I call time boundaries, which is 30 minutes, an hour. It's just so that you can let go of holding the time. And when your alarm clock goes off, we will go to step 2. So for now, are you ready for step 1, the wander and wonder? Let's grab our basket or our bag and let's get lost. Come on. So we're going to do this wonder exercise together with our friend, the nettle. And part of the experiment here is to put aside what you think it is. Actually, let's engage with this plant as if it's the first time that we're meeting it. and see if there could be a little bit of ooh or ah or whoa escape your lips as we look at this plant together. Just take a look at its beautiful ridges of its leaf. And can you see the needles going up and down its stem? And it's beautiful dark green. But when I lift her leaf up, the light green. And her veins. Can you see how beautiful that is? And even there are all these little bugs underneath. And let's just take a moment to be radically amazed by this plant. Not just by its leaf, maybe by its wholeness, by the parts we can see and the parts that we can't see. By when did it grow this year? What fed it? What ate it? Where is it in its life cycle? There's so much mystery revolving around this plant. And the best way we can approach this plant through the muscle of wondering is to put aside our certainty and to take in this plant as if we were having childlike eyes, seeing the plant for the very first time. So we've been wandering in this gorgeous forest, and part of the act of wandering is a willingness to leave the well-trodden path and to let your eyes just go about and to follow the sound of a bird or the movement of a shadow. And I'm noticing right there this beautiful pop of pink from a foxglove. So let's wander off of the path and go visit that foxglove. So this is our friend, the foxglove. And before we forage anything, there are 3 rules or discernments in our morning altars practice that we want to make sure that we adhere to. The first rule is called ask permission. That is the same thing as like asking consent. But the thing that this rule number 1 does is that it automatically puts you into a position to ask the question, is this alive? Because why would you ask permission if something is not alive, if it's an object? So the first rule is to ask permission. May I take from you? May I receive from you is even a better way of asking that. So that might sound completely different to you, how you say it. But how I say it is, may I? May I receive one of your flowers? So that's the first rule, is to ask permission. And ask yourself why. Why is it important to ask permission from a plant or a tree or even a rock? What does that do when you ask permission? Yeah. Rule number 2 is to give before we take. So with our friend the foxglove, we're going to offer something to this plant before we take from it. So the first question to ask yourself is, why? Why would we give something before we take something from a plant? And the second question to ask yourself is, what? What are you going to offer this plant? So I have some water, which is a really great thing to offer a plant, but also there's 10,000 other things you can give. So recently I did a workshop with some children, and a little girl said I would sing the plant a song. And that's a really wonderful gift to offer a plant. So the second rule of our morning altars foraging practice is to give before we take. So the third rule of our morning altars foraging practice is what I call the 2/3 rule, which means only take 1/3, leave 2/3. So even if this foxglove is screaming, take me, take me, take me, all of my flowers, hold yourself back, only take 1/3 and leave most of them behind. Why? Why is that an important thing to do? What does it do when you hold yourself back from taking everything? And what does that serve? So ask yourself that question with the third rule. the 2/3 rule. Only take 1/3, leave most behind. So even after you've foraged, see if you can reconnect with the wonder. Take a moment and to just ooh and ah this material. This is amazing. Look at how beautiful this is. Look at how unbelievably gorgeous and amazing this is. The speckles, the little hairs that draw inside. See if you can just take a moment, even after you forage, to wonder with what you foraged. So let's review the basics for step 1, wander and wonder. We have our basket, we have our scissors, we have our wander timer or cell phone, and lastly is a willingness to be awed by the ordinary. My name is Schildkret, and this is Morning Altar's Step 1, Wander and Wonder.